Welcome back. This is the second part of a series of videos on how to consider if a merger or an acquisition for your business might help you achieve your financial goals that you want within your budgets. So in this part here of part 2, we're going to be looking at database. And this is a database of prospective businesses that you want to target for perhaps buying out. So one of the things we need to look at when setting up a database, and this goes for almost any database, is you need to manage the size of the database. So let's assume that the database you want is this size here, and whether you're a plumbing business, a motor mechanic workshop, a survey business, a boat charter business, it doesn't matter what your business is, you're going to need to look at your competitors. And you're going to need to develop a series of mailings that you can send out to them. So you identify who your competitors are. Now these could be any of your competitors that could be direct competitors and also indirect competitors. Now an indirect competitor could be someone that has your customer before you do, or after you've done your service to them or provided your product. So in this example here, a database could be made up of, let's say, 500 prospective targets. That might be a little bit too many. There might be 10, there might be 50, there might be 100. But in this example here, we want to manage your database accurately. So the first part is to identify who the people are. And we want to segment that and say they have been broken down to 3 types of graphics. We've got demographics, geographics and psychographics. And you can look up those later on, but just trying to decide where these people are going to be located, whether you have to move into their location or they have to move into your location. So with this database, you want to set up where you want to have 20% of the database being refreshed over, say, a 12-month period. You may not be able to do the merger straight away. Your merger might take 6 months or 12 months to actually accomplish. Or you might do what many business doctor clients have done, in that they have done one merger of a small size client, or small size competitor, and then several months later, once they've absorbed that, they then go out and look for another one to acquire, and then they chew that one up and absorb that into their business as well. So you want 20% of the database being refreshed, but so that you cap the cost of managing the database, you also want to exit 20%, which is 100 people a year, or entering into the database is, divide that by 50 weeks, is 2 people per week being entered into the database. And that's how you set a database up to manage writing and communicating with these people. I'm just going to show you now how to communicate with them. In the next part of this, we want to identify the type of communications that you want to send out. So very briefly, you might have a series of letters. So this would be an A4 letter addressed to someone, and you'll be writing on the letter that you're interested in expanding your business and buying into theirs. So then you just finish the letter off. You mail that out to the database, and then you might follow that up with another letter in 3 or 4 weeks, or a week's time, or a month's time, with another communication going out to them. And then you might like to follow that up with yet again another letter saying that you're still interested. What you need to be mindful of when you're considering a merger is that that person at the moment may not be interested in your offer to buy their business or to merge their business or for them to be acquired. So you need to have a number of communication strategies, and this is just one. And this is a snail mail strategy. And like all businesses, or like all database messages, it needs to be relevant to the target audience, and you also need to have frequency. So in this example here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters that are going out. Now you could stagger that so it would be sent out 8 times over a year. You might send it every 6 weeks, And that way the person is constantly being reminded that you're actually seriously looking at acquiring a business. And yes, of course, you would put your name and logo, so you can have your logo at the top there to show that you're seriously looking at expanding. And this is a number of things to mark about. So, in mergers and acquisitions, this is part 2. If you'd like to know more, please come back in a second and we're going to talk about the due diligence that you need to undertake when you're doing a merger or looking for making an acquisition. I'll see you in a minute.